Penfed Credit Union is the third largest credit union in the country and a credit union that I've been using as my personal bank for the last year now. But earlier in this year, they've made some changes that a lot of people aren't too happy about. So in this video, I'm going to discuss all the new changes, as well as giving you a fresh perspective on this credit union, because I've been with them a lot longer since my last video, so I'll be able to give you some better information about them. But before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe, because it really helps out this channel, and you're going to see more videos on credit cards, banks, and credit unions. So the first thing that they did is made the minimum APR on all their credit cards 17.99%. And I'm pretty sure this was already the rate for all their other credit cards except the gold card, and I think it's just a couple higher percentages up from the gold card. Let me know if you know what the percentage was before, but this isn't a big deal to me because you shouldn't be carrying a balance on a credit card anyways. The next change they made is that you can't request a higher credit limit without a hard pull. So before you could request a higher limit on one of your credit cards, and you wouldn't be penalized for this, but now if you want a higher limit, they're going to take a hard pull of your credit score, which is going to temporarily decrease it. And this is one of the few changes that I think really actually matter, but I still don't think it's that big of a deal because Penfed gives super high credit limits on their cards. So 9 times out of 10, you're not really going to need a higher credit limit because you're already getting such a high one to begin with. And then the last change is there's a couple new restrictions on balance transfers. So if you want to get 0 APR on a balance transfer when you open up one of their credit cards, you just have to make sure the balance transfer happens within the first 90 days of opening up the card. So this isn't that big of a deal either because that's pretty standard with most credit cards. But I think the biggest problem with this credit union, and this isn't necessarily a new change that they made, just something that's kind of gradually happening more and more over time, is that their infrastructure is a little bit overwhelmed. They've had 1.2 million new users since the end of 2018. A lot of times when I go to log on to the app, or if I try to open up an application for a credit card alone, it'll just crash and it'll tell me the server is not available or it's under maintenance or something. And I've had times where I just get kicked out of the app. And the main problem with this credit union is it's just not really user-friendly. Their website's okay and it's still usable, but it's nowhere near any of the other credit unions like Alliant or Navy Federal, and the same goes for their app. Their app is a lot worse than their website, and it's almost unusable. Like, you can log in to use it to see your balances and make payments, but it's just super annoying when it randomly kicks you out for no reason. And there's really no excuse for it to be this outdated. You would think a nonprofit that's this big would invest some money in making a new app, but they still haven't done that. So if you do want to join this credit union, you are going to be getting really good rates, and it's open to anyone to join, but just keep in mind that your online banking experience is going to be a little bit frustrating at times. Also, when you open up an account, they might do a hard pull. I'm not sure why or when they'll do it. Some people, they're going to hard pull their credit, but most people, they're not. When I joined, they did hard pull mine, which is a little bit annoying, but it's fine. So just keep that in mind. There's also a couple of changes made to their credit cards, so let me just cover that really quickly. So the gold card is the biggest one that's changed. The minimum APR was bumped up a little bit, but again, you shouldn't be paying APR on a credit card. You should pay this off every month. So that shouldn't be as big of a factor when you're deciding to get a credit card. It is a 0 introductory balance transfer for the first 15 months with a 3% fee for transferring it over. And previously, it also had 0 APR on purchases for 15 months. So what they did is add $1,000 of cell phone protection when you pay your bill with this card instead of the 0 APR for 15 months, which is okay. That's not a huge deal. A lot of other credit cards will give you cell phone protection as well as giving you points back. Also, when you look at the fine print, the cell phone protection is really not that good. On the main page, they advertise that you're going to get $1,000 in cell phone protection, and while this is technically true, you're only going to get $500 per incident. So that's going to cover any repairs of the phone, like if you drop the phone and it cracks. But if your phone gets stolen, that's not really going to cover it because a lot of phones are worth more than $500. It's also quite a hassle to make a claim and get your phone repaired, and you have to jump through a lot more hoops than a lot of other credit cards will make you do. The first thing that you're going to have to do is actually prove that you're paying your cell phone bill with this card, which is pretty standard, but steps 2 and 3 are kind of dumb. You have to prove that you filed a police report within 48 hours, which I guess makes sense, but it seems a little bit extra to file a police report for a stolen phone. And then a copy of the device summary page from your cell phone bill showing proof that your phone's linked to the account. So I guess they're not that dumb, but the police report thing within 48 hours just seems a little bit extra. And most people probably aren't going to know this, so they think they're going to be protected, and then if they go to Penfed and it's 2 days too late, then they're not going to get it. But at least now you know that's heading into it. As far as I know, their other credit cards are the exact same. The Pathfinder Rewards is still one of the most underrated cards out there. They claim they're going to give you $800 total of value, which includes $100 statement credits for domestic, air, ancillary, travel, and global entry, and then an $85 TSA pre-check statement credit. If you don't know, these just help you get on airplanes a lot faster and you can skip through a lot of the lines. You also get access to their luxury hotel collection, auto rental, collision damage waiver, and then if your trip gets delayed, they're going to reimburse you for that. So you're getting a lot of benefits that come with a premium travel card, but you're not having to pay an annual fee. There is a $95 annual fee, but that's easy to waive. So to get this waive, you have to be an Honors Advantage member. To be an Honors Advantage member, there's 3 different ways. The first is to have a checking account with at least $500 average in it, or $500 direct deposit each month. And if you're in the military, you're automatically going to be an Honors Advantage member and not have to pay that annual fee. You're also going to get 50,000 points when you spend $3,000 in the first 90 days of opening the account, 4 points on all your travel purchases, 1.5 points on everything else, and then 0 APR for balance transfers and purchases within the first 12 months. If you're not an Honors Advantage member, you're only going to get 3 points, but most likely if you're getting this credit card, you're using Penfed as your primary bank. But the weird thing is this card also gives you cell phone protection, so there's really no reason to get the gold card at all. Before, it might have made a little bit sense to get it if you wanted 0 APR on purchases for a little bit longer, but since the Pathfinder already gives you cell phone protection, there's not really a reason to get it. Also, if you look at their Power Cash card, which is just going to give you 2% on all your purchases, if you're an Honors Advantage member, if you're not, you're just going to get 1.5. And then this is also going to give you 0 APR for the first 12 months on balance transfers and purchases, as well as a $100 sign-up bonus. So this is just going to be their catch-all card, but this also gives you cell phone protection. It's weird to see that all 4 of their credit cards give you cell phone protection, and it'd be nice to see them change up their benefits a little bit. Their last card is their Platinum Rewards card, and I actually love this card. If I do get a card from Penfed, it's definitely going to be this card, because it's a 0 annual fee card, but the value you're getting from it's pretty crazy. You're going to get 5 points on all your gas and EV charging, 3 points in supermarkets, and that includes Target and Walmart, which is going to give you around $150 in value. And then there's standard 0 APR on purchases and balance transfers for the first 12 months. And apparently this gives you cell phone protection too. And they also throw a benefit that I've never seen with any other credit card and that I think is pretty funny. They call it travel accident coverage. When you purchase your travel ticket with Penfed's credit card, you're going to be eligible to receive coverage for loss of life or a limb. So I guess if you lose your arm while you're traveling, then you're going to get covered for this. So that's pretty unique. And what I love about these credit cards is they all have pre-approval programs, so you're not going to have to risk a hard pull. Also, they're super generous with their limits. The one thing that I knock them on is their rate for point redemption. If you're going cashback or gift cards or merchandise, you're going to get 0.85 cents per point, which is a little bit low. And if you're redeeming for travel, you're going to get 0.95 cents per point. So that's not horrible, especially when you consider some of the other benefits that come with these cards. Now, one thing that hasn't changed and still makes this credit union rank a lot higher than a lot of other credit unions is their checking and savings account. If you go with their Access America checking account, you're automatically going to be an Honors Advantage member, which is cool. And then you also get 0.15 APY on all your cash sitting in the account if you have a balance less than $20,000, and then 0.35 if you have a balance over $20,000. So this isn't a huge amount, but most checking accounts don't give you any money back for having your money sitting in there, so it's better than nothing. If you go with their premium online savings account, you're going to get 3% interest in all your money in the savings account, which isn't the best rates you can get out there. If you go with another high yield savings account, you can get upwards of 5%, but 3% is still better than 95% of banks. There's also not going to be any monthly maintenance fees that come with it. And if you want to get one of their credit cards, you can open up a free checking account with them. And then usually after about 6 months, they're going to send you pre-approval letters in the mail. I actually had their Access America checking account, but recently I downgraded. It was really easy to get downgraded to the free checking account. I sent them one email and then within like a day, I was already downgraded. And I downgraded because I'm switching to another credit union, which I'm going to talk about soon in another video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Let me know if there's any changes to Penfed that I missed, and if you're still going to be sticking with this credit union.